Be Ballin with the I Be Ballin basketball show. You already know. So we're gonna watch Caitlin Clark highlights, especially a lot of memorable records, during the season. And we're gonna watch her break the NCAA scoring record as well. And we're gonna watch highlights of Lynette and Pearl Moore as well, and Pistol Pete highlights, because those are a lot of the scoring NCAA records. And I'm also gonna talk about a lot of other stuff about the WNBA and how I don't want the women's game to be like this soap opera. So while we watch highlights, I'm gonna talk about it, and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and comment, because I'm gonna be talking about some interesting stuff. So first off, I think Caitlin Clark, she's changing the game. She's box office. She can shoot the three from anywhere, deep range, from the logo. Look at her. She can do step backs. She can score. She's a 3-level scorer. She can score inside, get to the lane, but she's also a great passer. And she's going to go number 1 in the WNBA for the Indiana Fever. And she's just going to continue to break records. She's already breaking records and, making the women's college game even bigger and better than ever before. And more people are watching the women's college basketball more than the men's. And this Ohio State game broke a record. 3.3 million and more watched this game. Seeing her beat Pete Maravich's record. And I think Clark did say that the Lynette record was more special, because a lot of people, this is another issue that I have. People are talking about an asterisk, putting an asterisk or a footnote or a fine print or whatever on Caitlin Clark's accomplishments, or even other legends' accomplishments. Why are we doing that? Why are we pinning, ball players against each other? It's Caitlin Clark versus Pete, Caitlin Clark versus Lynette, Caitlin Clark versus Pearl, Caitlin Clark versus the NBA. What are we doing? Like, we don't want this to be like reality TV drama. We just want the women's game to grow, right? But I've just been seeing these videos, and a lot of people starting to spread drama and all this, and I just don't understand it. Like, I understand it's entertaining and it's drama and people love to gossip and do all this. I get it. It's part of the game. I get it. But it's like, why do we have to be like the NBA? Or for example, people are like, oh, they should have 2 separate records. Pistol Pete, he did it for the men's, right? And he did it without the 3-point line, and he did it in 3 years instead of 4. It's like all these comparisons. It's like, what are we talking about? And people are like, Pearl, that doesn't count because she played it in Division 2. And people are like, Lynette, what about Lynette? And it's pinning them against each other. And I love that Iowa, they brought Lynette out, because she, broke the record previously, right? And I thought that was dope, because we as women have to lift each other up, like that Beyonce song, who runs the world, girls. But if we just bicker and put the women against each other, we're not gonna be ruling the world, are we? And I just feel like we don't have to pin each other against each other and diminish one's accomplishments just because somebody else broke a record. It doesn't make any sense to me. But right now, we're gonna watch a lot of Caitlin Clark moments of the season. I thought this video was pretty dope. The countdown's pretty dope. All the handoffs, long range. All these teams are trying to defend her, but they try to not let her get the ball, but because they know, like, if you let her get the ball, it's trouble, and she's gonna have ice water in her veins. She's gonna be clutch, and she's a class act too. Nice girl, and she's raising viewership. Ticket sales. Sellouts, season tickets. The viewership, the exposure that is happening right now, it's amazing, and she's gonna do this for the WNBA. She's gonna take it to another level, the level that they really need, right? Because they need, like Larry Bird type player, or Magic Johnson, or Michael Jordan, right? They need to get to that stage, but they've only been since 1997. It hasn't been that long, but things are rising. But here's one of my issues. So about the records, right? Some people say apples to oranges, whatever. But I also have a problem with the whole WNBA versus Caitlin Clark. What are we talking about? What is this nonsense that we're pinning against each other? First of all, you're saying 144 women are not going to like Caitlin Clark and don't want her to be in the league? That's insane. The WNBA, of course they want, the WNBA to grow, and Caitlin Clark is going to help do that. Why wouldn't the WNBA want Caitlin Clark to be in their league? And there's some people are like saying, oh, Caitlin Clark should just skip the WNBA because, they don't want her. Why would she give up her dream of playing basketball and playing against the best in the world? Like, I understand they don't get paid a lot, but she's going to get paid a lot, right? She already made a lot in NIL deals, right? And that's just going to continue. She's going to continue to get more sponsorships. She's going to be fine. What the WNBA needs to do is take advantage of Caitlin Clark and, raise the stakes. Like, she's going to raise everything up. She's going to bring all these fans to watch games. People that never watched WNBA games or attended WNBA games, or they're going to show up because of her. So why wouldn't the WNBA want that? So why is it Caitlin Clark versus WNBA? And I was seeing stuff like the WNBA doesn't want her because she's straight and she's white. I said, what are we talking about? The WNBA is actually have been trying to make Sabrina Ionescu one of the faces of the league, and she's white and straight too. So what are we talking about? Sabrina Ionescu, she is the one that did that Steph versus Sabrina shooting contest during the All-Star weekend, for those who don't know, and she's on NBA 2K cover. So I'm like, what are we talking about? And I understand the WNBA is full of, gay women. I understand that. But it's like, they're not going to like her because she's straight. There's plenty of straight, women. I think Asia Wilson is straight, and the whole league isn't gay. Also, there's a long time ago, Candace Wiggins, she was complaining about the WNBA, saying it's toxic and harmful, and because they were jealous of her. So they didn't like her because she was straight, right? And I'm like, that was her experience, but that's not everybody else's experience. And are there some people that's going to be jealous and not like her because she's straight or white or whatever? Sure, but that shouldn't keep you from going to the WNBA. If the whole WNBA was like that, I would be like, okay, don't go. But that's not going to be the case. If that was the case for Wiggins, maybe the team she was on didn't have the right veterans to help her. They didn't have the right culture, right? Inclusive culture that you need. And every, WNBA franchise is not going to be the best, right? And I think that the one she's going to, Indiana, it's going to be great for her. It's in the Midwest. She's playing with Aaliyah Boston, the former number one pick, and she's never played with a talent like her, so that's going to raise her game as well. And so I'm like, what are we doing? I understand people want to get views and this is a clickbait culture, but it's like, whoever said that they don't want Caitlin Clark, that was ridiculous. If anything, in my opinion, I feel like the world is very against black people and colored people and gay people, not white and straight, right? But why does it have to be straight versus lesbians? Why can't we all get along? Why does it have to be black versus white, right? And also remember that Michael Jackson song, doesn't matter if you're black or white. It's basketball. It's basketball. And I'm all for debates. I'm all for debates. Let's watch Lynette. There's not a lot of highlights of her, but she's the first lady of Harlem Globetrotters. And she played for the Jayhawks. And Caitlin Clark beat this record. And people were like putting her, Caitlin Clark and her against each other, and I'm glad that she was at the game. And it's like, I understand there's this thing with the young generation versus the old generation, and how the newer generation is getting paid more, right? And they're getting more exposure. But that doesn't mean that all the legends and the young heads can't get along, right? And that doesn't mean you have to pin them against each other. Another thing, it's Sheryl Swoopes, right? There was obviously some drama because Sheryl Swoopes. Oh, let's watch this Pearl more. She doesn't get a lot of love because she played in Division 2. And my thing is like, there's so much. Oh man, there's so much. It's like, it's so much like, Pete did it in 3 years versus 4 years, or saying Caitlin Clark, beat Kelsey Plum's record, in lesser games. It's like, why do we have to do things like, this person played with a 3-point line, this person didn't play with a 3-point line, stuff like that. This person played with a ball, men's ball versus a women's ball, and it's like, why are we doing things like that? But the Sheryl Swoopes thing. So, did she get a lot of stats wrong? Absolutely. A lot of people are calling her a liar. But if you watch the whole video, they corrected those stats at the end. And some people say that she disrespected Clark. People are calling her a racist. I think and they even made shirts like, don't be a Sheryl, or don't be a Swoopes, or something like that. And I'm like, why are we? I think that's when you take it too far. Can you make in the basketball debates? Absolutely. But the whole calling someone a racist and you don't really know them, I think that was too far. Like, and did she exaggerate a whole bunch of stuff? Like saying Caitlin Clark attempt a bunch of shots, or she's 25 when she was really, really not. I thought that was, if you want to be a basketball analyst or on a basketball show, you do need to do your research. And I think she's like a WNBA analyst, so maybe she knows more about WNBA. But she was definitely wrong with those stats. But to call her a liar, I think that's going too far. Calling her a racist, that's going too far. Making those shirts going too far. Because think about it. Do you see Caitlin Clark wearing those shirts? Nah, you don't see her wearing those shirts. So why should we do that? Why can't we just take the high road? And why can't we just say, okay, she made a mistake. Okay. You don't have to like everybody. And now people are saying she's jealous of Clark because of all the things I said, right? The popularity, the money. And it's like that. It's from that video you saw that those are the assumptions that we're making now. Why does it have to be, pinning people against each other? Why can't we just all get along? Why can't we all just honor and respect all the legends? Look at Pete with all these passes and the scoops and the circus shots and the handles. And that's what's great about Clark, the handles. She can score from anywhere. She can dribble from anywhere. She passes it. She's a great playmaker. And she's going to be passing even more because she's going to be playing with the best players in the world. Caitlin Clark is going to be so much better because she's going to be like, wow. Like, these players, like, no disrespect to, some of the players that she's played with at Iowa, but let's be real here, the talent level is way bigger. Oh, look at that pass. That was a nice pass. He made flashy a thing before it was cool to be flashy. And I remember watching the Pistol Pete movie, and, the coach would be like, don't make all those passes and showboating and all those crazy handles. Stop doing that. But when he did it, they was winning. Though he was doing all that. He reminded me of, like, Jason Williams passing. But, yeah, thanks for all these videos that I've seen and watched. Thank you for everybody. I want to hear in the comments what you think about my comments. I feel like we don't have to pin people against each other just because they make a mistake, or just because they, just because Clark got all these records. Records are meant to be broken. And one day someone's going to break Clark's record. Like, we all should just honor and respect the past, the present, and the future. Angel Wilson, she's the present. She's killing it. Angel Reese, Juju, Clark, all these ladies that are, making viral videos, viral games, breaking all these records. They're the future. In the past, like Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, like, we all should learn more about them. We all should honor them, especially when, like Lynette and Pearl, I didn't know about them. I was born in the 90s. I was born in the 90s, so I didn't know about them, right? So when they were talking about the record and passing, I was like, yo, let me look up these legends and see what they did and see their game. Just not even to compare them or put them down, but to just see what their games and how the game has evolved and the similarities. It's like MJ versus LeBron. People were looking for the next MJ, right? So they're like, oh, LeBron is the next MJ. So they was pinning each other against each other. When in reality, there's no beef. There's no beef. In reality, they're just doing their own thing. Wow. From afar, they can see what each other's doing, right? But also, I feel like people want to pin each other against each other because, oh, it's exciting. But for the women game, I don't want it to turn into this soap opera, women can't get along type thing. The NBA, they can get away with that. They've been here longer, they can get away with that. But for the women game, why we don't have to be doing the same thing as men, And like I said, make sure you guys check out the videos, the channels that I put in my description, because one of them is Road to William. That's my cousin's channel. Check that out. And one of them is RC. He covers women's basketball, the Aces. He covers Caitlin Clark. He's a extreme Iowa fan. So make sure you guys check that out. But let's just be excited that the women's game is growing. And stop all that bickering and saying people are racist and versus each other. Oh, straight versus, LGBTQ community, or the black and versus white community. It's like, why can't we come together? People are making all these assumptions. And yes, race and gender and, who you love and marry all plays a part in many businesses and industries. Yes, it does. But just because that doesn't mean we have to make assumptions and have to pin each other against each other or diminish it, right? So I just want to say thank you guys for watching the video and hearing me out. Write in the comments your opinion. No attacking, just all love. And, we can always have a friendly debate. Let's all have a friendly debate. Yo, peace. Peace and love. Stay ballin', y'all. Peace.